Hello everybody, welcome back to Tini Fragrance. My name is John Novatini and I'm dedicated to bringing you unbiased, unsponsored, and unpaid for fragrance reviews. Something that can be difficult to find on the internet these days. The fragrance that we are reviewing today, you probably know of it. It's one of the most popular, one of the most reviewed, one of the most loved fragrances on the online niche internet fragrance community. A community of which I hope to someday be a niche internet micro celebrity within. Today, we are reviewing Xerjoff Naxos. Why does this bum have a tiny sample vial? Because these are unbiased, unsponsored, and unpaid for reviews. And this fragrance costs $250. Something that can be hard to find these days. Anyways, this is probably my fourth or fifth small sample vial of Xerjoff Naxos. I've ordered it pretty much every fall, a little sample to see if I really do like it that much. And I always do really like it. And then I decide to buy it, and then it's kind of a little warm, and I'm thinking about getting a more summery fragrance. But this October will be the October I pull the trigger, I believe. But let's get into why Xerjoff Naxos is one of the most loved fragrances in the online niche internet fragrance community. It is premium, it is long-lasting, it projects, and it actually gets compliments. I wore this to a pickup basketball game with some friends from the a cappella group I used to be in, and I got many compliments. Now, do these compliments also come from women? Not in my personal experience, but for you, they might. It just depends on what social circles you're in. But this fragrance, I sprayed it on this morning, and man, it is just so good. It is just so good. You spray it on, and you're gonna get a massive blast of lavender, just lavender in your face. If you've never experienced just like falling into a bush or tree, I'm not sure how it grows, of lavender, and then inhaling deeply, when you buy this fragrance, spray it on your arm and smell it, that's what you'll feel. You will feel as if you've face planted into a thing of lavender, however it grows. Not sure, not a botanist. Now, as it ages on your skin, there are a few other notes you're gonna get, mainly honey, tobacco, and vanilla. Honey, tobacco, vanilla, which ends up being a very sweet tobacco scent with still a little bit of that lavender. If you've ever been around an old man who smoked a pipe, or you yourself have smoked a pipe with pipe tobacco, you'll know that vanilla and honey are flavorings or scents or mixes that are frequently mixed into English tobacco to give it that aromatic smell. And you'll recognize that when you smell Xerjoff Naxos. Sweet vanilla tobacco is a mixture that goes very well together. Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford is one of the most famous examples of that. And what this does is take it from a very interesting floral fragrance to something that I consider one of the best cool weather fragrances out there. Hence why I always want to buy it in October. It starts off with that predominant lavender that feels like you're in the middle of spring, but as it ages, it becomes this rich, sweet tobacco honey smell that I think makes it perfect for fall and winter. So I do think that despite my personal purchasing habits, I do think that Xerjoff Naxos is an all-around wear. I think you can wear it spring. It might get a little intense, too sweet for the summer, but I think you could pull it off. And then in winter and fall, it would really be perfect. And if I already talked a little bit about the attention it got me on the courts when I was shooting hoops, but I also wore this to a class one day when I was in college, and I had sprayed it on 2-3 hours before this class. This was an 11 o'clock class, or 10:45, and the professor came in, and he was, something smells like lavender. What is that? He was very confused because there was a very strong, intense lavender scent in our classroom, which if you're familiar with classrooms in the United States, they don't usually smell like intense lavender. He never knew that it was I, the culprit, that was the one smelling like lavender, but that is a testament to the projection, the sillage of Xerjoff Naxos. So if you are into fragrances that you can spray on early in the morning and people will smell from 5-10 feet away throughout the day, Xerjoff Naxos, it checks that box. If you want a sweet fragrance that you can still wear as a guy and not feel maybe like it's too feminine, Xerjoff Naxos checks that box. And if you want a fragrance that is one of the most luxurious fragrance houses in terms of the packaging and the bottles, Xerjoff, they check that box 100%. And if you want something that there is nothing in the designer fragrance world that comes close at all to copying the scent, Xerjoff Naxos. There isn't anything at Sephora that smells anything like this, which is why I believe, for those reasons, it's one of the most popular in the internet community, the niche internet fragrance community. And now, as it's been on my skin a little longer, I'm getting more of the tobacco, which I am a big fan of tobacco in scents, but it's not. There are two main ways tobacco is done in fragrance, is in my opinion. There's kind of an animalic, leathery tobacco fragrance DNA, and then there's the sweet honey vanilla tobacco fragrance, tobacco vanille or Tuscan leather. Those are two prime examples of the different worlds of tobaccos and fragrances from the same fragrance house. And I strongly prefer the sweeter tobacco, and I think Naxos probably has the best sweet tobacco in a fragrance I've smelled. So lavender, honey, tobacco. Those are the main things you'll get. Up to you to decide if you want that for winter, for summer, for spring. I think it works in any season. I think the best for it is probably fall and winter. But that is Xerjoff Naxos. Lasts all day, projects all night. Sweet, floral, tobacco fragrance. It is deserving of the online hype, I believe. You can find Neiman Marcus or on Jama Shop for like $70 cheaper. It's one of my favorite fragrances. The first fragrance from Xerjoff I ever smelled about 3 years ago. And if you are looking for something to up your fragrance game, really make you stand out from the crowd, I cannot recommend Xerjoff Naxos enough. So that was my review of Xerjoff Naxos, a glowing review. I gotta get some negative reviews in here sometime. Send me some suggestions in the comments of fragrances that are trash so I can review them. The next one I've already decided is gonna be Xerjoff 40 Knots, which will be another good review. I love that one. And I go make sure you watch the Zoologist Rabbit review. That fragrance is about to drop later this month. So if you want to see what I thought about Zoologist Rabbit, I was one of the first people on YouTube to review it. I've got that up. You can see it on my channel. But for now, John Novatini signing off. Have a nice day. Subscribe.